What's going on, guys? It's GBP baby. Welcome to another video. It's currently 1:25 a.m. on Friday the 27th of October, and yeah, apologies for the lack of upload yesterday, but we're back, and you can see this is Thursday's price action. You can see we traded. This is DXY daily. You see we traded higher. We took out buy stops residing above this swing high, so I'm just gonna mark that out now. And I'm also going to grey it out, and the reason I'm greying it out is because we've already hit that target. So you see you traded higher, and then we came down, still closed up, but we took out those stops, and you can see we started to fall lower now. And if we look at the weekly very quickly, we'll be able to see where price is at. And I don't believe price is going to expand any much higher this week. I think it would be a bit weird if it did. So I'm expecting us to stay in the range that we're in. And the reason I'm not expecting price to expand any higher is because we've taken out sell side. So we took out Monday the 9th of October's week. We took out that low here. And then today you can see we just traded up and took out the buy side off it as well. So that means both sides of these candles have been taken, both sell side and buy side, which means that we're probably going to remain range bound for the rest of the week. After price is taken out both sides, price does tend to return to equilibrium though, so I'm going to mark out equilibrium of the week right now, of the weekly range right now, because we're assuming that the high and low have already been made. So that's going to be here. And I'll just make that red and I'll make it dashed. And then when we drop down to the lower time frames, we'll know that that is the midpoint of the weekly range that we've created. So let's go to the 4 hour, see what we can find. So you can see we came up, grabbed those stops, and you can see we created a nice breaker, high, low, higher, high, because we took out the high there, came down, took it out one more time, and then you can see we're starting to push lower now. And so tomorrow I'd expect a continuation to the downside, and like I said, I'd like to see us return to equilibrium of the range, because as you can see, both buy side and sell side has been taken. So let's just delineate the sell side that's been taken as well. Sell side, and that can go on the bottom. And yeah, so tomorrow I'd like to see more down price action. Another thing to note is the fact that we took out this high with this candle, and then we took out this candle's high with this candle. I now believe that this level's protected, as in, again, I wouldn't anticipate price to need to break through that for the rest of the week, which is why I'm expecting more down dollar. So let's just mark out this swing high as well, just to show how that's been tagged. And yeah, one thing to take note of, let's look at the breaker. So we know this swing high, we got swing high, swing low, swing higher high, and we could take this low into consideration, but let's drop down to a low time frame so we can be a little bit more refined. So technically, I believe this candle here would be the breaker, so to speak, because this is where the low is created, and it's and technically it's a bearish order block in a weird way. But let me see. So we can draw out this candle's body, and then we know that we can be selling anywhere in there. We do have another fair value gap in here as well, which is nice to see, but let's just draw out this first, and I'm going to mark out the midpoint of that like so. And then I'm also going to draw out the fair value gap that's also resting at that 50% level. So really we don't even need this box, let's get rid of that. But I have my eyes set on that as to where I'd want to be selling from, because remember, I'm now anticipating lower prices and I'm running to these relative equal lows resting below here. So let's just delineate that as sell side liquidity. And also there's a fair value gap down here as well that price may want to draw to. If we do go any lower, we're lagging, sorry about that. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if price does want to come up back into here one more time before moving lower. But overall, I'm expecting bearish dollar tomorrow, and I want to see us run down towards that south side liquidity. As I was saying, if we do move lower, we do have this. Remember, this is that weekly equilibrium point that I've marked out since we've taken out both south side and buy side. So I do anticipate price to likely want to even draw into these lows completely, and then probably go into a consolidation to finish off the Friday. And then next week we do have interest rate announcements and a lot of high impact news in general. So it wouldn't surprise me if we were to finish around this point. But yeah, not really too much going on. We can see that Thursday was quite consolidated, as you can see. Wednesday we moved higher, and yeah, but Thursday's a lot of back and forth action, and only now have we actually like broken down. And like I said, I do believe we've made the high, and I'd like to see some kind of push lower in the new day. But yeah, one thing, let's just keep our eyes on this swing high here, and again this 4 hour, is it 4 hour? 1 hour. The 1 hour fair value gap here as a potential high of the day, and then expect lower prices for the rest. If we go to the 4 hour, one thing to note as well is this swing high, which is the swing high. So this swing high is obviously this swing high, and it's not abnormal for price to want to trade back into the range of this wick, because ranges this candle failed to trade back into this wick, so I am anticipating at least some candles try and get in there. And again, with consequent encroachment off that wick, you can see that lines with the top of that hourly fair value gap I've marked out. So price may even want to draw right up into there before coming lower, but we will see. So other than that, if it doesn't, then I'd see this wick as like a breakaway gap, and I'd expect, a lot of pushing low, a lot more aggressive selling. Let's go to GBP. We'll start on the weekly. Again, we're taking out both sides off. We took out buy sides from last week and sell side. So again, we're in a range, and we're likely going to return to equilibrium of that range. And as simple as I make it sound, although we might return to equilibrium, it might have a funny way of getting there. Like, I'm not expecting prices to run straight to equilibrium. However, since again we've taken out buy side of this range and sell side, plus traded to the 50% level of this candle, next week I expect lower pound in general, but we'll talk about that on Sunday. But overall, for this Friday, I'd probably want to see us close around equilibrium. So let's go to the 4 hour, and you can see that equilibrium. Let's get that back up. We do have these beautiful relative equal highs resting above here and this fair value gap. So I'd like to see if price can push higher into that, with support of dollar obviously moving lower. So I'm going to just mark that out now. So price may want to draw into that, and then obviously we have the fair value gap resting above here as well that price may want to draw to. So nothing too fantastic, and you can see we've had a nice expansion. This expansion on Thursday, we moved much higher, running right through. This is all low resistance liquidity run, because you can see how we aggressively traded through that on the news release, came down into the fair value gap, and now we continue to trade higher. And look what's happening. You can see the down close candles are supporting each other. So this down close candle is supporting. Let's make it a different color. Let's make it yellow. So you can see how these candles are stacking on each other. This candle is being supported by this, and it looks like this candle is going to find support again at this level, which again is hinting to higher prices and a run for this buy side liquidity residing above this swing high here. And like I said, if we do run into this buy side, it's likely going to want to tap into this level as well, and then potentially fill that fair value gap. So that's what I'm expecting. In terms of the low of tomorrow, we do have this fair value gap down here, but price is unlikely to want to come and fill it. You can see how we respected the 50% level of it, and with us being bullish, I don't really want to see price come back down into this level, because it shouldn't need to. So if we drop down to a lower time frame, we might be able to find some other PD arrays that price may want to take out. Let's just make it a different color as well. We'll make it orange. We technically have a fair value gap there and the swing low. So let me just show you that on like a lower time frame. There's a fair value gap. And the reason I knew that was a fair value gap was because wicks are gaps too. So when I see a candle wick like this and then a candle close like this, I can see this now as a gap. But let's drop down to the 5 minute, and I'm going to mark out this 5 minute fair value gap specifically that I'd like to see price draw down into to create the low tomorrow potentially. But the only reason I'm putting that there is because, like I said, in order for us to move higher, we need to take out some kind of sell stops first. So it would be nice to see if price can trade into this, still supporting that 4-hour fair value gap at this level, and then use that to then trade higher and run into that buy side liquidity we had delineated. That would also be supportive of what I just said in dollar, in terms of seeing dollar trade up higher into the hourly fair value gap and then move lower and start running for the sell stops that we have down in these levels. Now there is high impact news releases tomorrow, so that is going to help move the markets, but we'll just have to wait and see, obviously. Let's go to euro to finish, and then I am going to quickly show you guys something on euro as well that happened today, was it? But yeah, euro, you can see that euro showing a lot of euro failed to take out the low, but you can see we took out the buy stops, took out this swing high, but we haven't actually taken out this low on euro yet, whereas we saw GBP had, which is quite interesting. But we did take out these stops down here on the daily, so that's something to take note of. So sell side liquidity has been grabbed to an extent, just not on the weekly, but it's on the daily. So this can now continue to provide support, and more specifically, I'd like to see this 50% of this wick get respected. So in terms of the low on euro tomorrow, I'd want to see us trade down to the 50% level and then turn around and start trading to this daily fair value gap. Let's take a look at this 50% level, consequent encroachment. So if price is going to trade higher tomorrow, it's going to respect this 50% level. We'll drop down to the 4-hour, and you can see that's also 50% level of this bullish order block. Why is this bullish order block? Because the candle after it has closed above it. 50% of that is mean threshold, and remember on that daily, that's consequent encroachment because it's a wick there. But then on the order block, it's what you call mean threshold. So yeah, price is allowed to trade down. There's what I'm saying, and then I'd want to see us push higher. Similar to pound, we have some buy stops relative equal highs residing up there. And did we have another stop? We also had this fair value gap, but I'd likely want to see that get filled, as in traded through. And this swing high. Well, we have relative swing highs here, so let me just mark that there, and then so yeah, in terms of the low tomorrow for euro, I'd want to see us trade down 50% of this fair value gap as well, which is also, remember, consequent encroachment and mean threshold and consequent encroachment of the fair value gap on the hourly. So there's a lot of confluence as to why this level should provide support tomorrow. Also, we do kind of have a breaker, low, high, lower, low, and then we break higher. So this would support that as well, even further. So as soon as price comes down here and takes out this swing low below there, I'd like to see us turn around and start to run higher, assuming that dollar is going to move lower. So we can put sell side there. And due to the fact that euro on the weekly, remember I showed you that euro failed to take out this low, whereas pound did take out that low, and I believe dollar did take out the high. That shows a certain amount of strength in euro that would probably lend us to believe that euro may be the pair to trade tomorrow if we want to see strength, because if euro is the one failing to take out that low, it's showing a certain level of strength that GBP is not. So that might be something to consider in the new day. We also have relative equal highs residing above here, so there's a lot of liquidity in the buy side for price to want to move higher. Now the final thing I wanted to show us was I wanted to add DXY and GBP to our screens. And I'll show you today. Where is it? Here. So you'll see that GBP failed to make a lower low here. So on this low here, you can see GBP never made a lower low. We never made a lower low. We just aggressively moved higher, and I've continued to stack higher. Whereas euro did make a lower low, and we've moved higher since, obviously. And then pound did make, DXY did make a higher high. So in this circumstance, pound was the currency pair to trade, because pound was the one failing to make that lower low and show aggressive movement higher, which we didn't see on euro. And what I'm saying tomorrow is pretty much the opposite, because on the higher time frame, euros failed to take out that weekly low. I'll just show you that now. Euro has failed to take out this weekly low here, so euros failed to take that one out, whereas pound has taken it out. And we can see that dollar obviously has taken out that swing high as well. So now euro is the one showing strength, and if we're bullish, we should be wanting to, well, bullish in terms of wanting to run into that midpoint, then we should be wanting to trade euro. So that's pretty much everything, guys. Hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll catch you on Sunday. Peace.